What's the haps? I'm John, aka Meroka, and welcome to Spiel. We're in a Diamond Bishop gate this week, which is Fiendies. It's kind of the themed, it's, you know, sinful steps and those kind of things. So it's all gonna be some prefabbed levels, but whatever. And there are also spookets, which are about to shoot me in the back. God damn it. At least I brought a voltage. Damn it! I'm off form today. I am very badly off form. Hey ho, anyway, let's do some Spiral Knights news. Yeah! It's prize boxes, there are prize boxes. The old ones finished and they were followed immediately by new ones. If we bring up the supply depot, we have some, what are they called, extraordinary prize boxes are what we have. Which are mostly some kind of steampunky kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that is not terribly new to things. We've got I had the list up. We've got top hats, goggles, monocles, headlamps, modules, targeting modules and monocles, headlamps, sensor units, exhaust pipes, extension cords, gear, halos, wrenches, dapper combos, the clockwork crests, the heart thing here, that's new, and the splendid topper, this thing, that is new. Everything else is actually kind of not new, and you got a 15% chance of getting the new stuff. So, that is your gambling for the week, if you really wanted to invest in random chances of getting interesting new things. I kind of like the top hats, but I'm not seeing many on the auction house. I guess, not many people have bought into this promo. I guess you're kind of looking at like an 85% chance of getting something that's actually not even a new item. So it's not really good odds of getting cool stuff, it's just, yeah, it's 85% chance of getting something that already exists in the game. Which is not really great. As far as promotions go, this is kind of a weaker one. Even if the new stuff's kind of cool. I like the new top hats. I do like them, but odds of getting them is kind of like, it's just, well, is it worth buying into? No, probably not. Hey ho, never mind. Alright, let us do some questions. I asked you all to send questions. You sent many questions last week, so I got a good list of them. Make sure to have a few interesting ones and a few quickies, a few maybe lightning round type stuff. Hey, that was 2 pills. Yay, 2 pills. Now, doesn't one of these levels have a thing hidden somewhere, like down the side of a building? I can't remember which one it is and where it is though. Damn it. Who knows? Who knows? Well, Green Link knows. I'm pretty sure Green Link knows where that is. Because I remember, I seem to call this Green Link. It was like, hey, there's a thing down here. Do you know there's a thing down here? I was like, no, I did not know there was a thing down here. I don't know why I'm breaking all of these. I have no reason to break all these. I'm feeling I'm going to need to fight some stuff, though. Let us start off with Sajinxable. It's like, Sajinxable? Have you ever asked me a question before? I didn't realize Sajinxable watched my videos, so hey, welcome Sajinxable. I was not aware you were a fan. I much appreciate it. Sajinxable says, if you were to be placed in a video game, what genre would you like to be placed in? In what respect? Like as a protagonist? Do I have to be leading the show here and probably fighting against overwhelming odds and things? Probably an MMO, because, you know, in an MMO, every single person in the world is, you know, savior of the universe and the chosen one. And you can't die in the overwhelming majority of instances. So that's also a perk of that particular world. It's sort of, oh, I'm sorry, you seem to have kicked the bucket. Here, just get up and go again at the nearest graveyard. So there are perks to that particular job. Yeah, MMO's a pretty solid choice. Anything else? I don't know. In terms of, not really a genre, but it's like, Red Dead Redemption's a cool world. That would be an interesting one to be part of. I don't think I've got the wherewithal to be, you know, the next John Marston, but I'm pretty sure I could do a Nigel West Dickens thing, you know, snake oil salesman. I could sell me some snake oil. That's how I would make my way in the Old West. I'd probably get lynched for doing so, but hey, that's fine. Lynching ain't nothing to be afraid of. Well, actually, it probably is, but it's okay. Nigel West Dickens had John Marston to protect him, so I'll just hire an actual John Marston because I am not a John Marston. Yeah, that works. That does it for me. If you can't explain why you wouldn't choose other genres individually, what do I have to go through every video game genre? Shooters, I probably would not be very competent with a gun, so that's the thing. If we're talking about shoot-'em-ups, I'm also probably not a competent spacecraft pilot, because I have no such experience in any kind of aeronautics, which I feel is limiting to that particular career path. So, what other genres we got? RPGs, again, I'm kind of not really the heroic type, so I don't know how well I would fare in such a universe. Except for, you know, like I say, MMO, because everybody is special and everyone is unique. Hey, there's a thing! Ah, is that what I was looking for? That might be what I was looking for. I don't recall it being on that side of a building, but there's a thing that was hiding down there. There was a wonderful little hidden Vitapod. That is lovely. Just lovely. You there? There we go, that worked. Hey! I can have a Mechanite? Okay. I will take the Mechanite. Hey, friends! Whether they are useful friends or not remains entirely to be seen, but nonetheless, I have friends. It's not useful, it just got itself trapped behind a friggin... Oh, and I'm poisoned now. Okay. Do you want to come out here and help me? Before you just shock yourself to death? And once this poison wears off, I want to take one of those pills. Yep. It is a good distraction, if nothing else, I guess. It seems to be... it's gone, but... It was distracting things from me. So it was useful there. Oh, we've got it. This kind of worked out alright. Scott Pilgrim asks, have you ever had a Sega Dreamcast? What is your favourite game on it? I never had a Sega Dreamcast, no. That was one of those things that, I don't know, it never took off and was as big as it could or should have been, which is obviously, you know, why Sega kind of got out of the whole making consoles thing. So I was one of the many people who did not buy a Sega Dreamcast, actually, as it happens. I had what was it? I guess the N64 would have been out at the time, and I had my N64, and I was kind of okay with my N64. I think I would... Is that right? If I got the timing right there, I think I would have been around then. Yeah. And then I went straight to GameCube. So I have a friend who still has a Dreamcast, and I have played... What we played on that? We have played, like, literally only Star Wars Pod Racer. So... Yeah, that's probably, like, my only experience with the Dreamcast. So, yeah. Obviously, there were a bunch of stuff that got ported from the Dreamcast to the GameCube that I rather enjoyed. Skies of Arcadia was a great game that was originally a Dreamcast thing that ended up on GameCube and was one of my favourites on there. As well as the Sonic Adventure stuff. I played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on GameCube, and that was a rather good one as well, even if I did sink quite a large, significant portion of my life into racing Chow and raising Chow, and that whole rigmarole. It was quite a complex rigmarole. Anyway, let's head on down. Alivi says, why can't I think of a good question? I don't know, you are not inspired enough. Go and... consult your muse and become inspired and read some Wikipedia. Go read Wikipedia, find something that sounds really, really interesting, and post it in the comments this week. Also from Scott Pilgrim, I didn't realise he... I just copy-pasted everything. I didn't realise Scott Pilgrim had actually sent me 2 sets of questions here. There's, have you ever bought a soundtrack to a game? Yes, I bought 2 just last week, in fact. I bought the soundtrack to, what's it called? Chroma Squad, because the soundtrack to that is absolutely incredible. And I realised I didn't own the soundtrack to Freedom Planet, so I went and bought that as well, because that's also a pretty good soundtrack. Admittedly, since I did that, I've just kind of been listening to the Chroma Squad, because the Chroma Squad soundtrack is so good that I kind of then I haven't actually listened to the Freedom Planet soundtrack, like, all that much, kind of at all. So, one of those was maybe a little bit of a wasted purchase, I don't know. At some point I might listen to it, but... it was like, oh, both of these are great soundtracks, I will buy them both, and I will listen to them both. And then the Freedom Planet one, I'm like... it's good. It's not as good as Chroma Squad. Chroma Squad's soundtrack is phenomenal. It really is. I love that soundtrack to death. It is one of the best soundtracks I have ever heard. Is there stuff down here? Why am I heading down here? There is not stuff. No, okay. Waste of time. My time and yours. Wasting it all. Grab a key. Android, iOS, or Windows Phone? Windows Phone, like anyone uses Windows Phone. I am an Android man. I can't be dealing with iOS and their closed systems and whatnot. Android's not great, but considering the alternatives, I think it's the best of a mediocre bunch. Windows just genuinely doesn't have developer support for enough apps. Android kind of lacks in that regard. There's like 2 things I've looked for in recent history. I was like, hey, I wonder if that's hey, I'd quite like to try out that particular app on my phone. I've heard about interesting things, and then I searched the Android store, and it's like, why can't I find it? This should be more prominent. And it's like, oh, it's iOS only. So I guess iOS has the edge there, but I am not paying the Apple tax, as it were. I'm not paying whatever ridiculous extortionate fees they want for a phone. I've got a pretty decent phone that I picked up for 150 quid. And it's, you know, in terms of specification, comparable to other high-end flagship phones, like, I don't know, your new iPhones. It's like less than half the cost. It is a fraction of the cost, so no, I'm not buying into the Apple products. Are just they're for people with more money than sense in my book. It's like, I can't justify that kind of purchase. No, it's silly. Android, you can actually, you know, get decent products for a good price, whereas Apple, you just straight up can't. It's all going to be crazy prices. I'm getting stabbed to death here. I should probably take a pill, because there's one on the floor there that I could just replace it with. Let's do that. And let's get you debuffed. It's not really a debuff, it's, I don't know what you'd call that. It's not a debuff, it's not a buff, it's, I don't know what it is. It's an effect. Let's just call it an effect. It gives me more hearts, because I want them. Did you ever play Titanfall? If so, what's your thoughts? I did play Titanfall. I did some videos on Titanfall when it was in the open beta. I enjoyed Titanfall. Well, my friend bought it from a Mexican store for a fraction of retail price on launch day. So we got it kind of cheap. It's like if you went through like the Mexican origin store, you could get it for like £20 instead of like 40. It was like, it's a good game, but is it worth £40? I don't know. We found it for 20, so it's like, okay, well, you know, we'll take it for 20. 20 is a good price. And to be fair, it's probably about what it's worth, because we didn't play it for all that long. It's a good game, but it just didn't have much sticking power. It's the sort of game that's... the general consensus on it was that most people just got bored of it really quickly, and I would go with that. Yeah, we did too. We played it for... probably not much more than a week or so. Had a few sessions playing it, enjoyed it, finished the campaign, played a couple of other matches. After that it was like, well, now what? Let's play something else. So good game, but I don't know, just didn't really compel me or anyone else to play much longer. Favorite Pokemon species? Scyther. Scyther is badass. Favorite Pokemon game? It's gotta be the original Red, come on. Anything else would be heresy, you know? I actually know. I have we do this a lot on the podcast. We're like, oh yeah, there's only 150 Pokemon. It's a shame they never did anymore. That old chestnut. But I have a little bit of a soft spot for Gen 2. Beyond Gen 2, I genuinely feel like most of it was just barrel scraping nonsense. When they started just sort of making Pokemon out of geometric shapes and things, it's suddenly like, you guys really don't have as many ideas as you used to. So, yeah. I was kind of done with Pokemon after Gen 2, really. I enjoyed Gen 2. I enjoyed Gen 1, I enjoyed Gen 2. Beyond that, yeah. None of it ever really grabbed me in any way, shape, or form. I was just like, yeah, I don't need to play these. You have one love disc, for crying out loud. There's like a Pokemon that was a sun shape, and another one that was a moon shape, and then there was love disc, which was just a heart shape. And it's like, you're now just using shapes. Stop just using shapes for your Pokemon, for God's sake. No. What's your honest views on Spiral Knights and its community and developer? Oh god, what, like as a whole? I said I wouldn't do Spiral Knights, but this is kind of almost tangential to it. I think the developer is understaffed and underfunded and not able to it's not able to support an MMO as well as an MMO deserves to be supported, particularly one that has the potential that this one has. It deserves a bigger team with more manpower to work on the content that it needs to have in order to support an MMO. MMOs need a lot of time and effort support in time, effort, work, and money put into their development to engage the community on an ongoing basis, and Spiral Knights does not have that. As far as the community goes, it seems like a pretty good community. I don't really get too involved in the community. I don't really hang around the forums too much, but I don't think I've ever met really many bad people in Spiral Knights. Everyone seems like pretty chill, pretty cool people. Is always happy to help out and work with each other, and pretty friendly. There's, I guess, a few bad eggs, but man, mostly it's pretty good. Where else are we? I think we're through all the quickie questions. I guess we'll get into the meat of things. So we have Super Giga 64 wants me to talk a little bit about ecology. Which is something I can certainly go into, which is, where do you think you are when it comes to being green? I've often said I don't want to talk political. I will say my political affiliations, when it comes to stuff in the UK, I do tend to support the Green Party. They got a bit of a reputation of being a bunch of hippies who don't really know what they're doing, but I just tend to think they're more looking at the big picture than anything else in terms of politics as regards, you know, the future of the human race and Earth and everything. Most people are pretty selfish and only look at the short term and how does this affect me and my career, and for politicians specifically, it's like, it's mostly what's going to get me elected within the next term, in the next 4 or 5 years, or whatever term your country thing is. It's never what is best for humanity as a whole. It might occasionally be what is best for the country. It's usually what is best for me with politicians, I think. Where Green Party genuinely seem to be the only people who I in any way think are actually concerned with doing the right thing for, well, the planet, frankly. So that's why I stand by those guys. I have said on many occasions that I think with our current policies and actions on this planet, we're probably not going to be around too much longer on this planet. We are going to completely and utterly ruin things. A lot of people burying their head in the sand, I think. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, climate change isn't real. Oh, okay, so yeah, 10 years later and things are looking undeniable. Okay, well, climate change is real, but mankind didn't cause it. Okay, well, interesting hypothesis, but the evidence suggests otherwise. So yeah. Most leading climate scientists would probably disagree with you, I suspect. So yeah, I'd be inclined to trust those guys. Do you think about your carbon footprint when making some decisions? Honestly, not that much. I do recycle some stuff. We do recycling in our household. We cardboard, plastic, glasses, you know, the usual stuff. But I think, broadly speaking, on an individual level, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do. I mean, when you actually look at the numbers, it's like most of the impacts of pollution and greenhouse gas emissions and whatnot, it's, broadly speaking, almost entirely industrial. It's up to companies that are producing far more waste than any individual household to bring on policies that actually could affect change. Your household, you know, oh great, you took your milk bottle out to the recycling so that the plastic may be recycled. Congratulations! That business just around the corner, they have just thrown away in the bin 30 cardboard boxes today alone. And they're doing the same every single day. They're being far more wasteful than you could ever be. There are many businesses, they're all exactly the same. Most of them won't do much to help anything. And admittedly, like I say, the institutions are not in there to incentivize such things. I mean, there's an office I worked at a while back. Offices are terrible. I mean, the amount of paper offices go through, I mean, I occasionally get people who's like, oh, we're going paperless, and it's like, well, that's great. But there's a lot that don't. It's just the sheer volumes of paper that they go through, and most of it just goes in the bin. There's no paper recycling going on. It's just, it goes in the bin. I'm like, why don't you recycle? It could be so much better for you if you're recycling. And it's like, because it would cost us more money. is the bottom line there. I mean, again, once again, it's the short-term selfish impact of things. Companies aren't bothered about, oh, what might happen to the Earth in 100 years if we don't stop using all this paper and throwing all the paper in the bin. Companies are concerned about how much money can we make this quarter, is mostly what it is. And if there's no financial incentive to recycle, I mean, occasionally you might see it done as maybe like a PR move. It's like, hey, look, our company's going green, aren't we wonderful? Please buy our products. It could be done in that regard, but broadly speaking, yeah, it generally costs companies more money than it's worth to recycle. I know there was a organisation that went and did the rounds whilst I was at that office that were like, it was kind of a free recycling service. They just drove the truck around the area and visited local businesses, and if you left your recycling out for them, they would take it from you for free, and then they would process it and do whatever, they'd sell it and stuff. Which is a really cool idea. I don't think they still exist. I don't think they were making enough money out of doing that to be able to be sustainable as a business, which again is the business problem of all that. There's no incentives in that, so it kind of got to a point where it's like, okay, so we can. I remember this happening. They were spent a few months going around picking this up for free, and we started doing it for a bit, and then I really should have checked to see what this was. I presume must be. Why am I looking at... Help! Help! I need the help! No. Gate map. It's Fiends, right? Blast Furnace, Infernal Passage. Yeah, Fiends. Cool. Yeah, they were doing it for free for a couple months, and then we stopped using their services, and I said to the managers, like, how come these guys haven't been round? Normally they're coming round every week to pick stuff up. I haven't seen them in a while. And we're like, oh yeah, they wanted to start charging us money to do it. It's like, oh, yeah, it wasn't sustainable as a thing. They literally couldn't afford to keep picking it up for free. They had to charge us money in order to take away our recycling. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, given that, you know, by paying whatever taxes they do for services to come around and empty the skip every week, I presume you have to pay for that as well, but I guess having a company come around and empty the skip is cheaper than having a company come around and collect all your carefully sorted recycling. So it's just like, well, fine, all the paper's going back in the skip now, it's going to go in a landfill, and we're going to have to cut down more trees to make more paper because we haven't recycled anything, and sorry, planet Earth, you know, you're less important than the bottom line. What? Oh. Huh? These spikes not... Okay. Those spikes don't go away. I haven't pressed the switch that makes the spikes go away, I guess. I thought it... I don't know. These rooms are confusing. Confusing as all hell. Whatever. So, yeah, I would say it's more up to corporations, but then you kind of need the financial incentive there, because businesses aren't going to do it just off the goodness of their heart. You need institutional things. You need the politicians to enact policies that say, okay, we're going to give a financial incentive to companies for recycling. These companies are going to receive, you know, extra financing or whatever, you know, in exchange for recycling. And where does that money come from? Oh, well, that comes out of your taxes. So, oh, well, hang on. In order to encourage businesses to do recycling, oh, we're going to have to put up your taxes a bit. And, oh, nobody likes taxes. We don't want to put taxes up. Oh, sorry, planet Earth. No, we can't put the taxes up, so we can't incentivize the businesses to improve green standards across the board. Therefore, screw planet Earth. I need to get elected in 4 or 5 years' time. And if you put up taxes, that's going to, well, if you're that guy who raised the taxes, let's be honest, that's going to put off a lot of people from voting for you. It's like, oh yeah, this guy raised our taxes, so I didn't make as much money in the last few years, therefore I won't vote for them, therefore their political career comes to an end, or, well, they end up in a position where they don't want to be, politically speaking, anyway. How in the devil do I... Oh, there's a bit I can destroy there. I was like, how do I get through here? Also, is this just... Yeah, cool. I missed the bit that I could destroy. So yeah, it all comes down to money and selfishness at the end of the day. Everybody's looking out for themselves, nobody's looking out for everybody else, broadly speaking, across humanity. So yeah, that becomes a problem on the whole. Okay, hey Lumbers, are you gonna set me on fire? Yeah, you are. You got people looking out for themselves, they want to make more money, so they want to pay more taxes. Those taxes mean you can't put the wider institutionalized policies in place to deal with the major problems that you know, plague our planet. And then you've also got the issue, yeah, just big businesses paying off government and stuff, and it's like, hey, let's do some fracking and things. It's like, that's going to be really good for the economy. Yeah, great, it's good for the economy, wonderful. I'm so glad the economy is doing well when our planet is burning because the entire average global temperature is up by 2 or 3 or 4 degrees C. Yeah, I'm glad the economy is doing well after all that. So I feel so good for the economy right now. Love that economy. Everything comes down to the economy. It's like, oh, if the economy's not doing well, if we don't have a planet, I don't give a crap about your economy. You need a planet to have an economy on. If you've destroyed our planet, you're not allowed any economy, like, at all. You can't have one. It's not allowed. Economies require planets. So that is a major problem, I do feel, and I don't know how you address that. If I knew how you addressed that, I don't know, I guess I'd be out there saving the planet. All I can do is vote for the guys that I think can change that, and from my standpoint, I feel like that's green. I feel like green are the guys that are actually willing to do something about it, but again, because they've got all these policies that, you know, mean everybody else loses out a little bit, they don't make as much money this year, nobody else is ever going to vote for them, broadly speaking. So that's a problem. That is very much a problem. How far do you think we can go today to help preserve Earth? I think it would help if politicians would stop looking out for number one, as well as businesses being completely and utterly and totally 100% obsessed with their bottom line. If politicians were actually willing to... If we actually had some politicians who were willing to enact some changes that actually encouraged and supported... Hello, this is an interesting room. Ooh. We've got a scenario room. Hello there. They came from the darkness, there was no time to react. Did you meet the swarm? Did the swarm come down here? You'll be right. You survived. It's cool. Yeah, if politicians were actually willing to actually change things for, you know, to actually work on improving the planet, then rather than just their own particular political careers, I think we could see a lot more changes. It's just on such a huge international industrial scale that is where change needs to come from. Individuals can only do so much. You can put solar panels on your roof, but really that's not going to make any kind of significant change, I don't think. You can recycle, that's not going to make any significant change. Even if everybody puts solar panels on their roof and recycles, it's the impact, especially when you take into account the impact of developing nations, which are currently undergoing something of an industrial revolution. When you look at places like China and India that are basically doing what like the British did around the early 1900s, I guess. That kind of time where it's like, oh hey, we've just invented all this technology that makes us wealthy and powerful, and oh, we're using a lot of the Earth's resources to do it, but who cares because it's making us wealthy and powerful. China and India are suddenly finding that they've got resources to make them wealthy and powerful at the cost of exploiting our planet, and everyone else is like, hey guys, can you kind of stop doing that? But the problem with them kind of stopping doing that is that they would go back to being underdeveloped because they have no industry or economy and things, and goddammit, it all boils down to money again. Money is the problem. So, actually, I'll tell you what, we should probably, to segue this into last week's topic, we should probably go vote for the Virtue Currency Cognitive Appraisal Party, because clearly we need to replace this money with a system of good deeds. Perhaps putting a solar panel on your roof could be considered a good deed to the planet and would earn you some money. As well as maybe even... when you go and do some recycling, you could earn some good deed credits, whatever the heck the currency might be. That would be important as well. So yeah, that's what we should do. We should abolish money because money is the root of all evil. It really is. It's kind of, this is the source of all of our problems in life. We have a trapped little Gorgo over there. You coming out to play? It's a fire gut. Is this what that one is called? So under here I should have a switch. Yep, there we go. That's what I was looking for. And the exit is upon us. Which is none too soon, because I was getting to the point where I was kind of rambling about that topic a little bit, because I was running out of things to say. I think I've made my points reasonably clear on that one. That is kind of, yeah. Hey, it's a reasonably on-time episode this week. I haven't actually run 35 to 40 minutes. I actually got it done in half an hour. That never happens! Hooray! Wonderful. So yes, go vote for Cognitive Currency Appraisal Party or the Green Party. Both are good. Green Party does not want to do away with currency, it's just trying to do good things, I think, personally speaking, and I'm sorry I made it political. Let's look at the recipes. We have nothing terribly interesting at all in there, I don't think. Nope, nothing I want to buy there. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you have enjoyed it, because that will help me out a bunch. Don't forget to leave your comments and topics and questions and things in the comments below, because obviously that will fuel further Spiral Spiel. If you don't leave comments and topics and things, I can't make Spiral Spiels. It's a symbiotic relationship we've got going on here, and I require your help to sustain this thing that we've got going. So yeah, that's cool. And don't forget to check out my Patreon, which will hopefully, if I remember to do the annotation, be linked in the outro in just a hot second, where you can go and donate money to me on a monthly basis so that I can keep making more content for you. You'll get extra videos if you do that. I make extra secret videos that only my Patreons get to see. So that's if you wish to really pledge your support to me, that's the #1 best way you can do that. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I've been Meroka, this has been Spiral Spiel, and I will see you next time.